Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How Are You Getting Fucked If You Live in California. I'm your host, Louis Rossman. Now, it's not only California that this is a problem. It's these bills preventing people from selling 3D printers that don't have blocking technology installed in them have actually been popping up all over the country. One of them popped up in Delaware while I was in California. At least I heard about it while I was in California. Now, they're doing something with these 3D printing bills that I don't like, which is they'll say, this passed in New York, so listen, you should pass it here.
I will also note, since the introduction of this bill, this similar legislation has passed in New York State. So we are not the first in the nation to do this.
That's not true, because that bill only takes effect if they can prove that the technology exists, which they have not proven. And this technology fundamentally will never work. Gemini thinks that I'm sponsored by Ground News. This is a part of a Glock. This is a camera flash mount. This is a silencer for a gun. This is a flashlight. This is a grip for a drill. This is a grip for a gun. This doesn't work because you can't tell what the intention is for a shape when you're printing it. And gun parts look like parts for everything else. Is this a bad square, a bad rectangle, a bad cylinder, or a good cylinder? Who's going to figure out if that's a good cylinder or a bad cylinder? The state, as they're looking through every single thing that you 3D print as you print it. Because now everything that you 3D print is going to be sent to a government server or a contractor of the government, maybe a private company like FISNA that will be able to see every single thing that you 3D print. And I'm sure they're not going to do anything weird with that data. This is bad. This is a horrible law. The entire 3D printing community is built on 3D printers that are built on open source software, meaning that the companies can't enshittify them. They can't make them worse. They can't say that if you want to be able to do 20 prints a week instead of 10 prints a week, you can do that if you pay us a subscription, because the software is open source. Anybody can modify the software, see the source code, remove restrictions if they're put in there. You can't sell printers with open source software anymore if you have this blocking technology requirement in it, which means your 3D printer can be enshittified the same way as your Nest thermostat or your Echelon exercise bike or anything else, where they can add limits afterwards because they're running on closed source software that connects to the internet. This is a horrible law. It's completely flawed. It's based on a complete misunderstanding of everything, and the author of the bill even admits this. She was asked a very basic question, and she said this.
Just if you could respond to some of the opposition having to do with the technology that's used.
I'm not sure I understood the first part of your question. I apologize.
She even admits that this is not foolproof.
Now, I don't believe, I may be wrong, but in order to allow for the printing that people are talking about here today, I don't know that it will be foolproof in preventing all printing, but we are going far in.
And I could have explained this to you, and I already have. They haven't listened. Here's what we need. We need as many people as possible to show up and explain why this is a bad law. Sacramento, California, 8:30 a.m. this Tuesday, the 30th. 1021 O Street, room 2200. Be there at 8:30. Be well dressed, be well groomed, and tell them why you think this is a bad idea. Stand there and be there in line. Bloomberg's organization is funding this, and that organization gets anywhere from $55 million to $80 million a year. They're going to be bussing people in from everywhere, and they're going to have t-shirts on, and they're going to be well organized, and they're going to be well dressed, and they're going to be well spoken. I can't have it just be like me, David, and two other people. That's not going to work. The only way that we are going to make a mark here, and the only way that we're going to make a mark that is heard around the rest of the country, is if as many people show up as possible. I don't want 30 people to show up. I don't even want 300 people to show up. I want 3,000 people to show up. We have this place here where we are organizing everybody who is planning to show up. I'm going to leave a link to this down below. And if you do want to show up, email me if you want access to a chat server where we're discussing this and we're trying to organize to push back against anti-ownership laws on the books in every part of the United States. I want to try and make it so that when something like this pops up, we just have all the people that we have a record of that we're willing to show up to something that we can activate to show up again. This is about living in a country where we own our software, we own our hardware, and we don't have a precedent set that a private company or the government is looking at every single thing that we do with our hardware and our software. And above all, that enshittification is not codified into the law. If these laws pass, your devices running closed source software and connecting to the manufacturer's server in order to work is literally going to be codified into the law. Even if you don't 3D print, even if you will never own a 3D printer over the course of your life, this still affects you because it sets a precedent that the government can write into the law that a very popular piece of hardware run closed source software and connect to the manufacturer's servers. And we've seen time and time again on this channel with thousands of videos and thousands of articles on consumerrights.wiki. When that happens, that allows companies to enshittify their products and force you to pay for subscriptions for things that used to be free, take a $400 baby monitor and turn it into a subscription, take a thermostat that used to work and turn it into one that doesn't work unless you give them $117 a year. Hell, Maria at the store is testing a fucking cat litter box that after 200 uses stops working unless you buy a new part to it. This is not a world that I want to live in. Help me move towards the world that I do want to live in. I can't do it by myself. I don't have $55 or $80 million to get people to show up. I have a YouTube channel with 2.5 million subscribers, and I'm hoping that that is more fucking valuable than Bloomberg's money. I am hoping that the fact that I have sat here for 14 years talking about the issues that matter to me and never read a single fucking sponsored ad allows me to trade that in at this point for you taking the morning off on Tuesday and showing up to this hearing. I don't have Bloomberg's money. I can't spend $55 or $80 million a year to organize an effort like him. The last video that I edited took me about 5 hours, and it made about $22 on YouTube. I pay more for a single trip for my cat sitter to give Mr. Clinton his pill when I'm away. Please show up. I'll be there. Email me if you have any questions. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. Let's win. Bye now.